What's going on, guys? No Guides here. Welcome back to another video tutorial. Today's video I'll be talking about explaining how to defend against kickoff glitch. I would say my method is the most accurate and the method that works for anyone. Because the truth is, although there are other methods out there, I'm not saying that they're wrong or not bashing them in any way or form. What I'm saying is they don't really work for everyone. This one that I've devised I've been using for some time now, and it works against the Elite 3 players, top 100 players, or even players in Goal 3. It works against anything, long ball, quick 1-2s, it works against any tactic. And that's the key. I think most of the tactics out there, or the methods to stop kickoff glitch, they're not really as efficient as this one. And I'll explain to you why, as you can see this clip now, and I'll be getting into it. So the first things first, how do I do it? Now, as you can see on the screen now, this will give you a better example. The way I do it is I control my striker, and I use my striker essentially as a sweeper centre back. And what that is basically you need to have your controller settings on either manual, so for player select, sorry, either on manual or on airballs. Now, the reason why this is so efficient is because you're bringing back your striker. Now in this tutorial I'm using a 4-4-2. The reason I'm using the 4-4-2 is because it's arguably the most open formation in the middle. So what best way to show you that it works than using a 4-4-2. The reason why I bring the striker back is because strikers add extra defensive stability, and more importantly they're not used generally in kickoff. So basically what I do is I bring the striker back, I just hold the line in a sense, almost a sweeper centre back role between my defensive line and between my CDMs. That's where it's glitched a lot. As you can see here, I bring Eusebio back, I bring him back all the way running jockey, and I use the offside trap to bring my defensive line forward, and I just leave Eusebio here. Now this is where this is the kind of the area where players exploit. Now why people can see kickoffs is because they get done by the La Croqueta spam. This was an issue in FIFA 18, but it is very much now La Croqueta spam. Most players, they get the ball over here and then do La Croqueta spam into the box. That's why using your striker is so pivotal and so important. Another reason why I like to use a striker is, generally speaking, the biggest mistake that I see is, let's say the 4-2-3-1 for example, probably the most common formation, the most popular formation in this FIFA. Many players they use a cam or they use a CDM. Now when you use a CDM or a cam to defend a kickoff, what happens is these players are brought out of position. And when you bring these players out of position, it's going to leave holes in your defense, which is arguably, this is not what you want to do, of course. Now, I understand people are not really in the zone and they forget about it. That's understandable. But the player that's just close your eyes for 1 second and think about every single time you have a kickoff against you, right? What's your striker doing in that situation? He's just staying forward. He's not being used. He's not coming back in defense. So the most logical thing to do is, looking back at the screen now, is bringing back your striker because he's not being used. And that's why I use him as a sweeper role, kind of to reinforce the line. And most players, most kickoffs are conceded from plays that are going outside the box or from an attacking situation. So going back to the video here, this would be a better explanation, should I say, of how to do it. So what I do now, as you can see, I want to select Eusebio, which is my striker in this formation. I use the right analog stick, I move it to the right, bottom right, to select Eusebio on the screen. Then what I do after I selected Eusebio is I want to run back, and I want to, as I said, solidify the defense and bring him back. I just run back normally in this instance, nothing there. When I bring him back, I also activate the offside trap. I'm using the running jockey, by the way, in case you're wondering. I just have different controls. But what the offside trap does is it brings the backline forward. In FIFA 18 it was much more reactive. They've nerfed it now in FIFA 19, but it still works. I activate it only once just to make them reactive. So the front line goes forward and Eusebio, or your striker, goes in the role of between the defensive line and the CDM. And what that is that's basically pushing players. Basically the opposition has no choice. You can't really go down the middle because you're manually man marking. Now I'm going to be showing you some other clips now on the screen. Once you get used to this tactic, now do that for now, leave them in that kind of position. But once you get more used to this tactic and you understand how it works, it becomes so good at defending kickoff because you can react to how your defender is. So let's say, for example, you're playing against someone who tries to go down the wing. You can defend easy down the wing, you can stop the cross, you can stop the long ball. So as you can see in these clips, I don't actually use my striker as a sweeper, but it just solidifies the middle. The key is you want to solidify the middle because most players, 90% of players, 99% of players, they go down the middle from kickoff. They do La Croqueta spam or they do a simple 1-2. But by manually tracking back with a striker, you're preventing this from happening. Another thing, I just want to talk about some other things as well, which might help generally in the game. Now, the biggest thing people normally concede is, let's say you're, for example, you're playing an away game. So I'll give you an example here. So let's say you're playing an away game. Now, I have this formation 4-3-3. Now, I don't actually use the 4-3-3 in game like many of you. You use a formation just for chemistry. So for example, in the game I have, for example, these formations. These are my main formations. I don't actually use the 4-3-3. It's solely for chemistry purposes. But you see, when you're playing an away game, this is why people like playing away games as well, because you don't kick off first in away games. Now, obviously when a game starts, you change from your balanced to whatever tactic, to attacking or defensive, whatever you change to. Now there's a slight delay, there's a slight period delay between changing from balanced to defensive, and that's where you can get killed from kickoff. So what I like to do is, for my tactic that I use for balance, so this is balance, as you can see I don't use it, this is only to get my players on chemistry. This is what I figured out is the best. Drop back and put your width on 3, depth on 2. You don't want it too low, but you don't want it too high. Balanced width on 3 as well. Players in the box on 1, corners on 1. Now this is only if you don't use this tactic. This is only for chemistry purposes. That's most players don't use balanced, right? And you want to put your instructions on come back on defense for every single person. Leave them on default. Don't touch the interceptions. Leave them all on come back on defense. Try to put stay back while attacking and cover center is what's probably the best thing to do. Put all these guys on come back on defense. So this way, when you're playing an away game, you don't get kick-offed in the first minute. So what that means is all your players, they're going to be back in your own half, and it's going to help prevent kickoff. When you combine that with bringing your striker back, it's basically going to be no hope for your opponent to score kickoff, unless you get really unlucky with an unfortunate series of events such as, you know, bounces, as you can, the simple deflections off your players' feet, deflections, stuff like that. But generally speaking, it will work. Now there is other methods. I know there's a D-pad tactic where you can use team press. Now you see, team press is very much like constant pressure. I'll explain to you why I don't recommend this. Now I know a prominent YouTuber made this. I'm not bashing it. It does work, but I don't think it works against all the players. It doesn't work against the high skilled players, the elite players and above. Now it does to some extent to some players, but a lot of players, there's a glitch now that exists, and it's basically a long ball glitch. You probably experience this a lot, especially if you're in Division 1 rivals. I experience this a lot. What players do, they do a kickoff. So let's say your opposition does a kickoff, and what he does a simple 1-2 and he runs in behind. And the second player from kickoff, he does a through ball in behind. Now, if you have team press on, or constant pressure, which is the very same, these players are running forward. Now, if you're up against someone using fast build-up play from the kickoff glitch or La Croqueta spam, you're actually going to be exploited by using team press. So it's actually not efficient to use team press. Honestly, it's not. If you don't believe me, try it yourself. I'm sure many of you have used team press and you probably realized it's not 100%. By using this method, it solidifies you 100%. So using whatever formation you use, just using your striker, selecting your striker and bringing him back is probably the most efficient method. As I said, look, I'll be honest, boys, there's actually no way of defending kickoff 100%. It's a glitch in the game. I'm 100% sure EA are very well aware of this. They probably can't fix it. It's a broken mechanic. They probably tried to fix kickoff glitch for the last 3 years. They know it exists. They probably can't fix it. So there's nothing we can do. The best we can do is prevent it for now. And what I like to say is, if you are using formations, like for example in this clip I'm using the 4-4-2, as you can see, I got the other striker here which is not being used, just as an example. But generally speaking, let's say using a 4-4-2 or 2-striker formation, you kind of have a choice of which player to bring back. Try to bring back the fastest player who's the most agile. So you ideally want a short player, not because I know you lack the leg reach, but the reason why short players are good with good balance and good agility is because they have a lower center of gravity and they're easily able to maneuver. As you can see on screen, this is like Ben Yedder, for example. I use Ben Yedder because he's very stable on the ball. He's really agile, he can move left to right very easily, and he's got very good pace. So when he's cutting the passing lanes out, or when he's stopping a kickoff glitch, he's probably the best method or best player to do so with that. So if you have to choose between two players, try to choose the fastest player out of the bunch. Maybe the player that's maybe the most agile with the best defensive stats, best interceptions, probably the best thing to do. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. It'd be very interesting to know what ways you defend against kickoff glitch. So please let me know in the comment section down below if you use a specific method to defend against kickoff glitch. It'd be very interesting to see what methods you guys use and what works for you. I hope you guys enjoy this. As I said, honestly, try this out. I can guarantee you every single person I've told this to, they use this. They say it works. It works against all players, whether you're on goal 3 or whether you're against someone who's a top 100 player. I've tried it against all ranges of players in my 15k team and in my main team. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any other questions, let me know in the comment section down below. You know, I try my best to respond to every single comment, and I'll try my best to answer and get back to you. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.